What are you doing, buddy? Oh, luckily the instructor's there. As an instructor, we always have spare gear. She's deflating the BCD. He didn't even deflate the BCD. Hi guys, it's my scuba diving instructor reacts to dive accidents. Have two divers on a deep dive. They say weight belt accident. 100 feet below the surface. Again, I'll include meters here. You can see the wall, another wall dive we're doing. Oh no, they have those spare air things. Guys, please don't use spare air. So as you guys know, weights are needed to stop you from ascending because you have buoyant equipment such as a weight belt. I don't know what that diver is doing there. Yeah, so as you guys know, you can't go up too fast because that could cause bends. I'm really not liking the fact that they're using the spare air, and the way that guy's kicking, I'm already nervous. But clearly the guy filming has a bit more control over his own buoyancy. Oh, it looks like they're in a serious current, but yeah, his weight belt is coming loose. That is why I do like to see integrated weights. Yeah, there's heaps of current. So there's a lot, okay, before we get into the accident, there's a lot of things happening. So clearly they don't look like super experienced divers. There's a lot of flailing and kicking around. They're at 100 feet, which is by no means a shallow dive. It is a wall dive, meaning at any point, if they're not really careful on their position in their water, they can go too deep and risk breaking their no decompression limits. There's a guy filming with a GoPro, so his attention is being taken up by that. They're carrying spare air, which has been marketed as a safety device, but I'm pretty sure they don't even need to be hydrostatically tested or filled with proper air, so do not use those things, please, if you do not want to have an accident. And yeah, lastly, it looks like his weight belt is about to come off, so let's watch what happens. That current, there's so much current happening. Oh, there you can see his weight belt, bam. And what happens as soon as the weight belt drops, he is flying to the surface. So he should be dumping his air straight away. Drop the camera, you don't need the camera. I would spin up and down, kick down, dump your air to try and slow the ascent. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, luckily the instructor's there. As an instructor, we always have spare gear. She's deflating the BCD. He didn't even deflate the BCD, bud. Yeah, this is why I'm not a fan of my customers having GoPros. Because you see, he's so much more preoccupied of getting his footage than actually making sure that he doesn't die. Because if he shot up from 100 feet, he could get decompression. Okay? Instructor's doing the right thing. She reacted pretty fast, grabbed him, deflated his air, telling him to breathe out so he would descend down. So as you guys know as well, the deeper you go, the less air there is in your wetsuit. You become more compressed, therefore it's easier to sink. So even if you're slightly more buoyant on the surface or even 5 meters underwater, as soon as you get to 10 meters, you're not as buoyant. So the key thing here is to not get into that runaway zone where you're closer to the surface and that you will just pop up to the surface. So many things, so many preventable things. And yeah, he's just filming the whole thing. I mean, it's a great thing for us to be able to see, and props to this instructor. She responded well. I mean, obviously it'd be better if she was a little bit closer by. She is probably putting, yeah, there we go. She's putting her own weights into his BCD, because as instructors, we always carry extra weights because usually customers underweight themselves, and just to make sure that they rather stay down and they can just add a little bit of air into their BCD rather than shoot up to the surface. But she's telling him to remain calm, stay down at the bottom. Props to her for catching him, but it does look like they probably went up about 10 meters. And the final thing is, this is why I don't trust a weight belt with a plastic buckle. I've dived plenty of times with a weight belt with a plastic buckle. That was not the issue. You could see that the weight belt was actually too loose, and through his kicking, it would have been moving around a lot. So you want your weight belt really nice and tight on you, so it doesn't just be hanging around. I had a weight belt fall off of my customers quite a few times, and again, it's just about keeping an eye on it. I had a guy who was quite a bit larger, so he needed a lot of weight, and 2 weight belts connected to be able to actually have the weights, and you're not meant to be putting your weights into your BCD because there's no quick release mechanism on that, like in your pockets, even though that's what she did at the end. But at that point, he didn't have a weight belt. So I kind of get it. She could have aborted the dive, but as instructors, sometimes you make the call to keep diving. So it was not, there was a lot of things happening here. And this is why it's so important to do your training, to stay calm. And please, guys, probably don't bring your cameras, GoPros, until you're a very comfortable diver, until you're very capable. Oh, and I think that's the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts.